What's up, Vindicators? This is Xenoxis. This is the Xenoxis show for the 29th of March 2017. So the previous day, on Tuesday, I went to bed rather late at 15:00 basically, and then I only slept for 7 hours basically. And today I haven't been up that long. I've almost been up 15 hours now, which isn't that much. Normally most people are up like 14 hours before they go to sleep, you know. But it depends on, you know, the worst thing I've ever done has been like been up 26 hours straight at one point. But that only happened once, but yeah. But anyway, so I'm just recording this just before I go to bed, because otherwise, you know, like I don't know exactly when I will wake up, because, you know, sometimes certain days I'm more tired than others, you know. Certain days I might be like, oh, I need to sleep 10 hours. On certain days I'm completely fine with you sleeping 7, you know, even if I've been up for a long time, you know, but yeah. So I went up at 22:00 on Tuesday. Yeah, on Tuesday. And of course on Wednesday, when the service went down at 3 to apply the latest patch, then of course it said that it would go and come up again at 11, but actually it came up earlier than that. I don't know at what time it was when I logged in, if it was at 7 or if it was at 6, but at 6 or so I worked on making a new YouTube avatar and stuff like that. But actually I spent like 2 hours on that YouTube avatar to make it, you know. Which was quite a lot of crazy work, you know. It's not always easy to make a certain profile. And I used the previous background that I had as a model kinda for it, but I changed the colors around. And I changed how it looked completely and stuff like that, because I made it into like a Drenai and stuff like that, so yeah. So it looks pretty good, and I even made like the Aldor sign and stuff like that. I think it ended up being pretty good, to be honest. Although I believe the avatar on YouTube doesn't even show the full Aldor symbol and stuff like that, so yeah. That is something, but yeah. So, I did play a bit of their patch so far, and I mean there is a lot of really interesting things, like even on your other characters that are lower, like artifact knowledge level. What you'll be able to do now is just buy a certain thing for 500 or the whole resources. You can buy a thing basically which boosts up a character to artifact knowledge 25 right away, and then the next time you read it gets you up to 26, I believe, after that. But yeah, but if you're currently like researching 2 tomes, then you will get them like right away. But the second one you do won't count as the 26th one, even though it should, you know, if you have 2 being researched at once. So yeah. But that's pretty great. The world quests now are a bit different, to be honest. There is a lot more like world quests. Like the rewards are a lot better, you know, so it's easier to get via world quests now as well. But it's kind of to balance out the fact that a lot of people have been pissed off about this, like your enemies now scale to your item level pretty much. At one point they had actually said, if I remember correctly, that they don't want to scale enemies to your item level. Like you want to have a, you know, you want to feel powerful at certain points, you know. I even made a post about it on the forums, but that post must have been deleted or something, because it hasn't shown up on the official forums. Like I did a post early morning on Tuesday and stuff that I did a post and stuff, and then just that post doesn't seem to be there anymore, you know, so I don't know what happened, you know, and stuff that. And I checked the post like the same day and stuff that a bit later, you know, so yeah. So I don't know what's up with that, you know. it might have been that I mentioned another game and stuff that, you know, like it was like a response to like World PvP, you know, like someone, you know, saying like that apparently World PvP was balanced in Warlords. So that, and where that person was wondering, you know, like, because that person was playing a healer, and that person was really annoyed by, you know, by getting killed really, really easily in PvP by, you know, like healers cannot heal enough, and like demon hunters can do more damage that they can heal pretty much, you know, and stuff that, you know. But then I went on a text, you know, I talked about, you know, because back in Manila I actually played on a PvP server for a while. I might have done so also during Burning Crusade for a bit, because I actually had more characters than just my Draenei, which of course I didn't make until TBC. But I did make it on the TBC launch pretty much, I believe, yeah. I also made some Blood Elves actually during TBC as well, but yeah. But the thing was, like, back in Manila, you know, because I mentioned, you know, how PvP was never balanced, at least World PvP was never balanced, you know, like, back in Manila, you know, you will have people, you know, you will have the whole Tormid versus Southshore thing, or, you know, Horde attacking Ironforge, you know, and stuff that, you know, or just your guild now on the RPPP server deciding we're gonna attack Astranar in Ashen Whale and stuff that, you know. And the thing would be in those PvP events, you know, like, everyone could join, you know. You didn't need to be a high level, you know. You could be a level 15 character or level 10 character, you know. And like, when our town was attacked, you know, usually there were a shit ton of players just attacking, you know. And the lower players, you know, wouldn't really do shit to the higher players. They would just keep missing, doing a little bit of damage, and maybe they would get lucky and get a kill, you know, and stuff that, you know. But of course they could try and target the other low levels that the other team had and such, but yeah. But the thing is, you know, like, people didn't mind like dying back then. People didn't mind like dying a lot in PvP, because back in Manila, like, a lot of people were just extremely bad at the game. If you go back and look like mechanics in old raids, like mechanics in Molten Core, it was like super simple. Like, I mean, like, compared to today's mechanics in raids, like, today's mechanics are a lot more advanced and stuff like that. Sure, sometimes there's still stuff like, you know, oh, don't stand in the fire and stuff like that, you know, but sometimes there can be like more advanced things, you know, like, oh, you have something on you, you need to run away somewhere and you leave a pool behind, which is like in one of the Emerald Nightmare fights. I believe it's against the bird spider hybrid thing, which is like a spider on one side and a bird on the other. However that works, you know, like, spider legs, bird body, or it has also a bird body, but yeah. That was in Emerald Nightmare. It actually, I believe it targets a player, and then you get like poison that you spread all around you, so that you won't want to run off and spread it to like the edges or whatever to spread it, so there can be enough stuff to, or enough places to stand. But of course that thing disappears over time. The pools do disappear over time eventually. But I believe the higher difficulty you go on, the more pools, or the faster it costs. It's like the more regular it is, so the quicker you need to kill the boss, basically, pretty much, you know, like a DPS race, you know, and stuff that, you know. And of course you have bosses, you know, with just like with very simple mechanics, but then they might have like a really short enrage timer and stuff that, you know, which is really interesting, you know. But yeah. So yeah, because then I mentioned that about the vanilla PvP, and then I also mentioned on the PvP server that I play on, which was on Ravenhold RP PvP, and I believe it was when I had like a troll rogue that I think I got up to 35-ish or so, because I do remember leveling it in Strangletorn Vale and stuff. And of course you could get to level 40 from Strangletorn Vale. I believe when you go into it, it's the same level as it is now, but you level it for way longer, you know, and stuff like that. And then it wasn't divided into a northern part and a southern part, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, you would usually start out in the northern part and then you would go down further and further. And when you get to Booty Bay, you're usually like 40 plus at least, you know, and stuff that. So yeah, I mean, it's quite insane really. But then the traveling time in Stranger Wayne is pretty massive, you know. And then just, you know, when you reach level 40, also you're not guaranteed to be able to even buy the mount right away, you know. I remember some people even not like buying their mounts until they were like level 50 or level 60, you know, depending on, you know, how good they were, you know. And usually like some people would spend like a really long time like farming cloth or something like that, used to try and like make money, you know, and stuff like that. But yeah, which was pretty interesting, you know. But yeah, but the thing was like that on that server there existed a guild, I believe it was called Silas Hand, and the guild master was an undead game, I believe. There were a lot of undead rogues in that guild, and that guild would do a lot of world PvP, and you know, it was called Silas Hand, and the guild master was Silas, of course, you know, an ego guild, so to speak. But yeah, I remember in that guild, you know, because I was on the Horde side then, you know, I was on the troll rogue and stuff that, you know. And I believe the guild I was in was called Omerta, and we had a Belgian guild leader who worked as support for Dell, I believe, which was from Belgium and stuff like that, so yeah. But anyway, then I remember seeing people from that guild in Xenoxis, Wayne, you know, fighting the Alliance and stuff like that. And like what they were, oops. Shit, hope that doesn't mess up shit. The screensaver just came on basically. I actually forgot to turn that off. There we go. No. Sometimes I'm pretty certain that I'm pressing the screensaver thing, but then it presses the other thing. But I think it's really important to turn off is so that the screen never turns off and that it doesn't go into power save mode basically. Because if you have that on, then even though you're recording something, it will still go into that mode if you like record too long, which is a bit bad, but yeah. So basically what they would do is they would attack Alliance, basically Alliance players, which they call dirty rats, you know, dirty Alliance rats. But they would only they would only really fight them if they like outnumber them at least like 7-1 or something like that, or maybe even 10-1 or whatever. Then only then they would like attack Alliance players. And then immediately when you see Alliance players flying from Stormwind, you know, to like the northern part of their Stranger Wayne, because that's usually where people will fight, where that rebel base is basically pretty much, you know, on the border there. When you first enter Stranger Wayne, there's a camp on the side of an Alliance camp, and that's usually where the Alliance reinforcement will land. And then as soon as the reinforcements will land, and there were just a few players, they like 2 or 3 Alliance, then you know, they would just retreat right away, you know, and try and get away, you know. And then whenever they have a big outnumbering event, then they would attack again basically. So yeah, a lot of cowardice strategies was used, but I mean, hey, that's just playing smart, you know. But that's basically a lot what World PvP was, you know. World PvP was never honorable, and back then they had that the honor system. You could get like negative honor from like killing guards and stuff that, so you could like get punished via that, you know, stuff that, you know. But anyway, I'm gonna talk more about that in part